Welcome to Toro NSN's Training Intent, the innovative, self-paced training module that allows you to get trained and to get going. Today's topic, the SitePro flow management process and the flow log. While this module is focused on SitePro version 2.0 and above, the principles you will see here apply to all previous versions of the software. This training module will cover topics including an explanation of what the flow management process is, what the projection of flow does, where to go to see the projected flow graph, some of the basic features of the flow graph, the flow log and where to find it, the information contained within the flow log, and other training intent topics designed to help you become a better manager of your Toro SitePro system. The flow management process in SitePro is an algorithm or sequence of steps that the software takes to determine what stations are going to go on at what time and for how long. SitePro does this in an attempt to maximize the amount of flow available from your water source or sources without exceeding any electrical or hydraulic limitations that you have built into the software program. While there are many factors that help decide this process, most of them are located here in the program's start time screen. Based on specific priorities and user-defined information such as start at or stop at times, the actual times chosen, and the order of the program from within the sequence, SitePro builds this algorithm to set up irrigation for that day's cycle. Once the software determines how the system will irrigate in the next cycle, the system is placed in a waiting condition. At the appropriate time, and depending upon your hardware in the field, SitePro will either begin sending out signals to the field, telling heads to come on and for how long, or the satellites, which all have the execution information stored in it as a result of a download from SitePro earlier in this process, send signals to the stations telling them when to go on and for how long. You can view a projection of how this flow will look in a graph form here in the projected flow graph. As always, this icon is labeled here on the bottom left of your screen when you place your mouse cursor over it. In the opening of this screen, you can choose how you want to see this projection of flow. Here we will see it by program, and we will then add all of the programs that have been written. Finally, we will click the Graph button on the bottom right to begin this process. SitePro now begins the algorithm process that we have just explained, and you can actually see the software doing this work. SitePro builds your flow model based on all of the information you have programmed into the software. The detail of this operation is logged, and we'll view that in a moment. Once this process has completed, you now see a projection of how your system will irrigate in a graph format. By placing your mouse cursor within the graph, you can get a snapshot of that time and how much flow will be running. A more detailed version of this snapshot can be viewed by right-clicking your mouse and choosing Show Details. Here you can see exactly what is running in both program and station detail and how much total flow will be running at that time. Because we have chosen to see this projection by program, we can now choose the individual program name on the right, click on it, and the name will turn white as well as its corresponding place within the graph itself. You can also see the total flow of the graph for the projected cycle by clicking the Total Flow option located here. The breakdown of the program names then change to the program's total flow for the cycle, and located here you can see the system total flow. As I mentioned before, the results of the algorithm are logged, and you can view this detailed information here in the Tools section of the software. This icon is the flow log, and here is the document where you can view the information that you have just seen during the projection of flow, but simply goes across the screen too fast to actually read. This flow log is actually a Microsoft WordPad document which can be saved or printed and is updated every time a projection of flow or a system update takes place. In this log, you can see detailed information about how your irrigation cycle was determined. You can see all of the sequences that are operating, the number of programs assigned to each sequence, as well as a total station event number. This total station event number is the number of times that an individual station is scheduled to turn on, and it includes repeats and multiple station cycles. You will also notice that the information here is color-coded. Blue indicates activity, while yellow indicates a potential issue that may need to be addressed. Here you can see that I have some stations that are not assigned to hydraulic links. Additional research indicates that these are vacant stations not being used for irrigation, so I'm not too concerned. As you scroll down to the bottom of the log, you can read all of the information that SitePro has logged, including the programs that have been downloaded to individual satellites, as well as its total station runtime for this program. This is a flow log where I was unable to get a graph because of an error. As I begin to look, I can't see anything that shows an error. My sequences are set up properly, and the programs seem to have starts. When I look at my yellow conditions, I see an additional one telling me I have a second sequence defined with a stop at. Because only one stop at can operate in a single cycle, you can see that SitePro has disabled the second one. That can certainly be an issue, but it's not the issue keeping me from irrigating. If it were, the error would be listed in red. As I scroll down, I immediately see the red issue, watering past update time. Because SitePro cannot run the algorithm to decide what's going to irrigate, while irrigation is actually being automatically actuated in the field, I see this condition in red telling me that this is an error. Errors will keep the system from operating, and if I scroll down to the end, you can see that this error has kept the flow from being calculated, which is why I didn't see any activity in the graph. This situation must certainly be addressed if I intend on having any irrigation operating tonight. As you can see here, understanding the SitePro flow management process and knowing where to go to view this information are two important tools that can help you navigate and use the Toro SitePro software more efficiently. Another 10 minutes have passed and you have just completed another episode of NSN's Training in 10. Today's topic: the SitePro flow management process and the flow log. We hope that this lesson helped you better understand these important tools and that it helps you further enhance your career working with the #1 irrigation central control product available, Toro SitePro. Be sure to keep looking for future installments of NSN's Training in 10, the self-paced training module that allows you to get trained and to get going. If you have any questions about this or about future training topics, or if you would like to participate in one of our acclaimed Toro SitePro regional training classes, please contact us by calling 888-676-8676, option 2. Once again, that's 888-676-8676, option 2. Toro and Toro's National Support Network. Count on it.